Trial.
1, 2, 3. Yeah, now you can hear me probably. Just indicate that you hear me. Just tell me in the chat if you can hear me. Okay, great. So, hello, everyone. You're gonna be stuck with me for some time now, if you decide so, because I'm going to sit here until the network starts. That's it. No, I'm not just gonna sit here quietly. I said to everyone, like, I'm going to stream, you're going to launch the network, I'm going to sit there in front of the camera until the time it runs. So, but no, I'll explain what will happen and what kind of happened over last week or so, and what will happen, like what we're like waiting for, and how the process goes. So you can like kind of realize, yeah. So, okay, someone said. Someone said, "Do you plan to launch at all? It's not serious. Never saw such problematic launch." That's not true. That's completely not true. Actually, every launch I've been into and or watched was like that. Except for like not everyone was so open about it, because nobody cared, really. Like almost nobody cared. Like, did you remember when Solana launched? Do you know how it launched? What was the process? How long it took? No, you don't, because nobody cared. Solana didn't have any users by then. Right? So we had users before the network launched, way before. And that's different from any other blockchain I know. And that's why, I mean, there are cons and pros, like, and one of the cons is that, like, you are there with the users, which expect you to do something, and they wait for you to do something. It's a good and bad thing at the same time. The good thing is, yeah, well, great, we're launching for someone. It's not like we're launching and with the hope that it will be like someone will use it, right? But from another perspective, yeah, there is a pressure, and every step you do, like people watching and criticizing, and it's fine. I mean, right? But to say it's like nobody ever watched like launched like that's just not true. And also about this thing about crypto winter coming and stuff like that. So what? Like, you know how many crypto winters like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and even Solana went through. So what? The crypto winter is not the end of the project. We actually don't care. I said it many times, right? And I don't want even to talk about like the token price, because there is no token yet. We're just here to celebrate the launch of, hopefully, of this blockchain and the token, right? So it's just the beginning. And actually the whole like the point of this stream was to talk about like what is next. It's not about like what we did, because we spoke about that many times, I think, but actually what's happening after that. And like, of course, when I talk like what happening after that, it's not I don't decide what happens after that. And what I can only talk about is what our plans, like Gosh plans, are as a core developer of the blockchain. Like what kind of plans do we have? What do we want to work on? And like what we think is important and what will happen from our perspective, but not like I don't decide for Acki Nacki. Hopefully from today, like from now, right? I don't decide. We don't decide. Let's see what's happening. So it's not exactly AMA, but you can ask questions. Obviously, I'll try to kind of answer them. I am watching channels, like dev channels. I maybe share with you some of that later on, like, or if they will, like, I'll ask to show things maybe on the screen. It's not very informative, but maybe we'll see. Like, so okay, so just to describe like the launch process maybe first, how it goes. So there is something called zero state. Zero state is basically what the blockchain starts with. It's kind of a state of everything that we know before the launch. What we know before the launch? Well, we know licenses, right? We know, so the licenses are held by wallet. There are wallets on the license, there are license contracts, there is a whole set of contracts, smart contracts. But like before the network starts, there are no smart contracts. So how is it possible, like if everything is in a smart contract, how do you launch? Well, you create zero state, you put all the contracts in there with all the licenses, wallets of the validator wallets, like block keeper wallets, block manager wallets, all the DApp system for the mobile verifiers, meaning like for you, you put it into the zero state, and there are thousands of accounts, like tens of thousands of accounts that need to be generated into the zero state. So each time we generate zero state, it takes like about 2 hours just to generate that file, which is basically the first file of the blockchain. Like think of that as just the first or zero block, okay? Something that you start from. So that takes like 2 hours just to generate that. If you do one mistake, it's all over again. Another 2 hours. So literally for last week, even more, what we did was we just generated the zero state, and then we kind of waited for all the block keepers to come like on the network. So we started our own block keepers, and they had to start their own block keepers, And once the 51% of them starts, the network starts. And then we discovered like there are like problems with this process all along the way. Like, I don't know, think of that like you start a spaceship. You put it on the starting lot, whatever it's called, a launch pad. And then like there are myriads of subsystems that you need to check before you ignite. And so you go over checks. And many times if you looked at Starship launches, many times it just doesn't launch. Meaning that something fails in the check, some tube is not there, some pressure is not building up correctly, stuff like that. Now you can test the systems on the stands, and that's what everyone does. And we do that as well. Like we have dozens of stands running every day, many times the network starts. But this all nice, and it's not even one data center, it runs on many servers and across the ocean. Data, we have 2 data centers, like we have our data centers in Europe, and there is a data centers in several data centers in US that we're using. So yeah, this goes across the ocean and stuff, but it's still our servers. Like we provision them, and it's not as many of them. Like it's not hundreds of them. There are like dozens of them, sometimes even 100. But we cannot scale to that. Like we cannot emulate all the block keepers coming on board, which is almost 300 now, block keepers physical servers, like 200, more than 250. So, and each of them has their own hardware. Each of them has their own like data centers across the different locations and stuff like that. And so, okay, so we start the network, and like this, we call it pre-main, which is the network we start. We need to run the full circle of tests, load, test everything in there, and, and something breaks, something like things that could not be, like our test passed, but this doesn't work for this provider, something configuration, these disks are not performant enough, and so on and so forth. Also, when you say about other networks, like literally apart from Solana, maybe, which is also like, yeah, you can say like apart from Solana, probably there was no other launches that were launching that performant network, which really like when you create a block and finalize it in like 13 seconds, well, like not a lot of things can go wrong. Like a lot of things can go wrong, but it's much easier than you need to kind of this tick every like 3 blocks a second. It needs to tick and underload and under like across all the different data centers and all of that. And it's hard. It's very complicated system in that regard. So yeah, so something breaks and it breaks again, and we start again, we restart. And each time to restart all that, to coordinate between all of this, providers, data centers, and all that, is just take the whole day in a good case to run one test. So if that test fails, it goes to next day. And literally that's what happened over the last like 10 days, more or less. That's the process. So yesterday was the first time where the pre-main worked. Even it didn't work 100%, but we said it's good enough. Like it wasn't something that would affect, we believe, mainnet in the like, I hope we are right, but like we don't think it will affect mainnet like severely or so. Right, so we start now. We already work on the patches, by the way. Some patches we work on right now, which will go to patch the network in probably a few days time. But we said, okay, that like this process can go on forever, so we just start the mainnet and then we patch it. So we didn't discover any critical issue. All the validators were on board. We ran the load test, so should be okay. Then today in the morning, like it was later at night, we still had accidents, so we had to kind of look at these accidents, like go to the logs of all these nodes that experienced accidents, like see what happened in there, analyze it. And it's, by the way, that's going on like for the last 2 weeks. We don't literally sleep. Like this, if the accident happens like during the day, and we go analyze the log, and it can take up to 3-4 o'clock in the morning just to get to some conclusion that like what root cause of this was. So yeah, so we did that yesterday, but we, like today in the morning, we decided, actually already yesterday, we kind of saw that it's fine. Like whatever we see is down to, like, we sent one validator with 12 nodes, I think, 12 nodes, to kind of, he switched the whole hardware to, thankfully he had the spare hardware, because his disk didn't perform. No, like for example, just one thing. So the nodes crashed, but it wasn't our fault. It's just the disks were too slow, and the servers were not disks were not under the kind of the hardware requirements that we said needed. So yeah, so in the end we decided, let's do it. It's fine, should be okay. And we started in the morning to generate like this zero state. So it's almost done now, but I don't know when actually like the final push will be. Yeah, sorry about that. So I went to to see what's going on for a second. There are some small patches that we had to prepare today, like basically mostly in the scripts, like to prevent some additional things that can go wrong for some of the validators. But anyway. Well, this is like strange statement to make. Like, I would expect you to launch the network and demonstrate its performance and reliability. Right after that, network should not be too complex to function. I mean, how did you arrive to that conclusion? That network is not too. It's not just another blockchain. It's not just another fork of Ethereum or Ethereum layer 2 whatnot. Like, that is not too complex to function. Our network is very complex to function, believe me. Like, and we will talk about that today in terms of like what is in the network right now and what isn't. Like, because not everything is there, and that's a conscious decision not to kind of put everything. Maybe I'll do this. No, it's even worse. 1 second. I have to turn on some light because I didn't sleep well and I didn't have time to prepare this stream technically too much. Let's see. Yeah, much better. So no, it is complex. It is actually extremely complex. I have a question about how the Ghosh or Acki Nacki team makes money, how salaries are paid. We sell licenses. We sold licenses, and it was public on the channel, so you can just go and see. No contracts, no products, nothing. Why you're not ready? What contracts? What? Why no contracts? What are you talking about? If established zero state take hours, could we experience a blockchain shutdown or disruption in the future, causing a freeze that could last for hours? Well, it's always the case, like with any software. Like you can experience faults. Hope that's not happening. Like if it will happen, we will fix it. Probably like as we go along, like it will be better and better. Yeah, I mean, these things can break. Obviously, they will break for sure. So, like, it can happen. I cannot tell you that, like, who can tell you that such things won't happen? Nobody. Did you ever experience your Windows or whatever freeze? Yeah. It's too complex. I didn't say it's too complex. I said that. I say that I would expect it to work. Yeah, me too. If too complex to work, it sounds weird. No, I didn't say it's too complex. I'm saying it's complex. It's not easy. It's not like very simple system. We are performing stress tests all the time. Like that's literally every like commit. I don't know how, you know how software development process works. Like we change something in the software or adding something, and the people, like an engineer who does that, he's committing this change to the to some like dev branch. When he does so, the test environment like starts to execute myriads of tests, and these tests includes also like the network is like spawning for this commit. On this network there is a stress load tests, and if the commit causes one of the things, and there are many tests that can fail, but if the commit causes a degradation in performance, then the commit not proceeding. Because the network, my block keeper license delegate to Acki Nacki still shows offline. Why? Because it's offline. It's not started yet. I'm saying we will like. I'll sit here until it starts. Okay. Like, I think now the. Let me check, but I think the application is down now, and it will be down until the network starts. So, 1 second. Yeah, there's questions like, would you continue to mine boosts from the current farming? For some time, yes, and then it will change. Okay, one of the things that there's like, there are things, so not to complicate too much the kind of the launch, there are a few things that are not going to be deployed from the first block. Like several of these Puppet contracts, like the Puppet wallet is there, like all your assets on chain, but several subsystems like the Boost subsystem is not going to be deployed in the beginning. It would be just overly complex, just too much. Something would definitely, like everything we add, like it just increases the chances that will break. So we try to kind of put it to the bare minimum of what we launch now, and also the network will launch in a very constrained form in the beginning. So like it will be allowed to run like that for some time before we kind of start to switch fuses on. So in the beginning it will be just one thread, meaning one shard, and a lot of sub smart contract systems are not going to be deployed. And also, like for example, the accumulator for the shells will not be deployed. Like as I said, the Puppet game will not be deployed. The boost system will not be deployed. Like all of these things are going to be deployed gradually over a time of like next weeks, basically. But it won't affect mining. So mining may start or will start right away, and yeah, like, and then we will like put more and more of these subsystems, like just deploy it on chain, so we take it out from server. But these systems are, how they affect like the user? Like it's the systems that we not deployed are not related to user wallets or funds, right? So there are nothing that like can, like we don't control someone's funds, but there are some modifications that we can make to the network in the very beginning, before we kind of completed all this deployment process, that can affect the overall mining performance for everyone. Like, so like we can change the some, if we could change some parameters of the mining formula, like for example. But there is no need for that, meaning like we're not expecting to do any of that unless like there is some bug discovered. But also you have to understand that this thing's going to be public. It's not that if we change something, because the mining is happening on chain, right? So the formula is on chain, everything is on chain. We can tweak the boosts, but not individual for the. We could, like, it's not that we will, but we could twist the boost, but not for individual player, right? For all in total. But again, you would see this because we would need to change these parameters on chain, and that would be visible to everyone. So like there is no point in doing that. So the only reason we're not kind of deploying everything is because it's just too much. Like we have a small team, and yes, we couldn't just deal with everything at once. So we believe that we need to start the network, we need to allow the mining, and then gradually we will put all the systems on chain, and then also like unleash the chain potential in terms of like allow multi-threading, allow accumulator contract because once we allow accumulator contract, then people can deploy their own smart contracts, and in the beginning we just don't want that to happen. Just to so that network will, as I said in Twitter, network will start in kind of Bitcoin fashion. Like you could mine Knuckle and you could send Knuckle to each other. Basically, that's it in the beginning. So that's kind of a basic functionality, or the Bitcoin functionality even today. and then like we will deploy bridge. Not we actually. Someone will deploy bridge to some third party will deploy bridge to the Ethereum network and accumulator contract, and like USDC, wrapped USDC on chain. From that point, everyone could buy Shell, and then if someone was buying Shell, then he's able to deploy their DApp system into the network. But we need to turn on the multi-threading and other like features first. So that will be in the stages. So think of that as like spaceship goes up, and there are stages that it passes, like 2-3 stages usually. So we're gonna be just in the stage 1. The network should have started a long time ago. Yes, it should, but it didn't. What it means should, like, it's not something, again, coordination of the network launch is not we could start the network 6 months ago, 7 months ago on our own servers, but what this network would do, it would be centralized network. Like, what's the point? It's not a blockchain. And I know, like, Hyperliquid, it started their own network, like nobody give a damn, but we do give a damn. Like, we don't want that. You will get the power button and you will need to install the wallet. By the way, this is important. Like, you won't be able to mine without installing the wallet. So the wallet for Android and iPhone is ready. It's already on the marketplace. On iPhone, it's in test flight, but it's public, so everyone can download that. Don't need permissions. It's in kind of public testing. That was the best, like the fastest way to get into Apple platform. But anyway, that works. So once the network starts and mining is there today, then you will be able to download the wallet. You will need to download the wallet. You will need to create, again, the new kind of wallet. You will be able to connect it. So everyone who lost their seed phrase, like, was the only way to kind of accommodate everyone. Like, we couldn't make it two separate flows, like for people who had remember their seed phrase and people who didn't. So we decided, okay, everyone starts again. But this time, because the wallet is a multi-factor wallet and it allows for social login, so actually it requires social login, but it won't transmit your information into the network, meaning like you can use Google, I think, and Facebook, and Kakao. I'm not sure Kakao is allowed already, but it will be soon. And then others will come, but in the beginning it will be Google and Facebook. So you need to, like, you need to connect your account, but it's not, you basically connect your account with the wallet. Then the wallet creates this proof, zero knowledge proof, that you have that account. And this proof, which does not contain any of your credentials, nothing, not even your email or anything like that, nothing. Just proof that you have an email on Google, nothing else. That transmitted, it's open source, you can verify yourself. It's transmitted to the smart contract when you deploy a smart contract, and this proof is one of the signatures that this account has now for you to log in. So anyone who has your proof, it's also a password protected, so you need to create a password. And so these actually two factors. One is your social account proof from Google or from Facebook, and another is your password. So these two together is what allows you to kind of connect to your wallet. And there is also a seed phrase, but this seed phrase is only for you to change the logins, the Google and password. So you cannot log in with seed phrase to the wallet. You need the social login and password, but you can change them using seed phrase. Now, if you lost the seed phrase, then you can use two of the password and social login and change the seed phrase. Right? So that's the first time this kind of system was employed. There is a system like that in SUI, and we'll use a lot of code from SUI, but not everything. Like, our system works a little bit different than theirs, because their accounts are just emails. We didn't think it's a good idea. So, like in our case, so you have these two, basically three factors, like the seed phrase, the social login, and the password. But you can log in with either this or that. If you log in with the password and social login, then you can transact. And if you want to change them, you need a seed phrase. So you do need to write the seed phrase somewhere, but you never almost never use it to access the wallet. Yeah. I'm fine, thank you. I'm a little bit sleep deprived. When the access to the administration stopped the full decentralization. Okay, this is incorrect statement because it's already decentralized. In a way, we cannot change these we cannot change things which we're not supposed to change. The administration keys that you refer to are only allows the changes of parameter of the network, but parameters of the network, they do not affect users' wallets, they do not affect user keys, they do not affect any of that. Balances, knuckles, nothing like that. So they can change the parameters of the network and in a way like allow multi-threading, stuff like that. And yes, we have to have them now to make the changes that we want to make now to the network together with the validators. By the way, we're not alone. It's not like we make a key and we sign and that's it. It's actually, I think, like all of these parameters now requires explicit validators approval. Think of that as kind of a DAO, which I hate that word. But it's not really a DAO. It's like we push the software, like in Bitcoin, we push the software update, which includes these changes, and other validators need to agree to run them. So anyway. When do you separate from Telegram? We are separated from Telegram. So, okay, I got it. Well, today. When do we separate from Telegram? What if I lose access to my Telegram account? Then today. What you need to do is you need to download the wallet. You need to connect your wallet with the Telegram account from inside the wallet. Again, that's not going to blockchain. It's just to transmit your boost and everything that was pre-existing to the blockchain to the blockchain. So once you kind of connect your wallet, then you get your app, mini app, or the website, web app account connected to your wallet. Everything you mine is not in the Telegram account; it's in the wallet, right? So, and login through Telegram doesn't make Telegram. Okay, maybe it does, in a sense, but how else would we just transmit everything that you did for last year to on-chain? There is no other way to do that, because you did it on the Telegram, we connect to your Telegram account. Once you transmit and we move all the system to on-chain, then you don't need to have it. At the moment, the only mining is possible through the puppets, and puppets are in the web, and you log in the web with Telegram at the moment. And yeah, that we will change that. We will allow wallet login to the app as the next stage. But again, it doesn't concern your assets on chain, if that makes sense. As I said, it is a complicated thing. It's a lot of stuff in mixed together. Again, it's a complication that happened because we started before the network launch. If we would start just today with the network launch and then we start, then it would be easier. But we decided to do first to kind of test if anyone needed what we're doing. Okay, so the application now stopped working. That's in preparation. There is time that takes to switch everything from how the system worked, the backend for the app, now need to be switched to the, like, be ready to work with the mainnet. So that change takes some time, a lot of time, because we have, like, it's a massive database of users, like almost 6 million records, and this whole thing need to be ready to just move and start working with the mainnet instead of the database. It's when you say it's not complex, I mean, I don't even want to pass it to the team, because they would just throw stuff on me, like, you know, eggs and tomatoes stuff. Google Play and App Store, exactly. 2FA is still there, and the upcoming vault. It's 2FA in what sense? There's the 2FA on chain. Think of that as this way. Yes, everyone need to download the new wallet, exactly. Yes, you will need to download the new wallet. If you have a seed phrase for the old wallet, it unfortunately, as I said, we couldn't make it work for both who lost it, who didn't. So just delete the seed phrase, forget about that. You will need to create a new one, but your name, your username on chain, remember in Acki Nacki you have usernames, and when you send money, you don't send it to some addresses with the, you know, numbers. You send it to the name. So all the names that you have reserved, they are reserved in the zero state. That's one of the things in the zero states. Actually, that's why it's like that large. It's also names. All the names that were reserved are coming there. Okay, that was the first part of the conversation, just to explain what's happening. Now I will start talking about the plans while we wait. I'm just checking the status in the team channels. Sorry, like this stream will be slow. Telling you now, like, prepare for whatever, a long journey. I was contemplating to get my champagne on the stream, but then I realized that probably YouTube will just ban me. Yeah. Have a document somewhere here. They need to open so we can talk about road ahead. I will do some ridiculous statements. I did some ridiculous statements on Twitter a little bit, but mildly. Today I'm going to do some ridiculous statements live. You ready for some dose of ridiculous statements? Okay, so one thing I already, I think, spoke about is like, it's just the top on my list, so I will repeat. Is like, why do we need speed? Or like, this question comes in various forms. Like, why do we need another blockchain? Why do we need speed? Why do we need, like, what's the difference between Acki Nacki? And I don't know, why do you think you will win? Or all the questions like that. So my answer to this is that, like, if you remember, Apple, like, evolution, or you know about Apple evolution, like how they changed processors inside Apple Apple products. In 1994, they used Motorola 68K processor. Yeah, in Apple 1, Apple 2. And then they moved to PowerPC from IBM on that part. Yeah. Then in 2005, they moved from PowerPC to Intel. And then 15 years later, from 2020, they moved from Intel to their own Apple Silicon, which we use now in their products. Like, why did they do that? Why did they change? What's changed? Why we're not using Motorola processors today? Why we're not using PowerPC processors today? Like, why AMD now is much more than Intel. Like, Intel is almost bankrupt. Why? What happened? Intel was the guys who created the processor, the modern processor that we use today. What happened to them? And the most kind of the core reason, there's just one single reason for all of these processors to kind of lose their market. You can go down to one word with that, and it's speed. It's not that simple. Like, speed is very marketing word, because, like, what is speed? Like, there's a lot of internals to this word. Like, it's basically power consumption per, like, processor operation. It's more or less like that, something like that. Yeah, this is like the power consumption per processor operation. But of course, it's also in absolute terms, because if you can do very slow processor, which would be very power efficient, but nobody will use it because it's too slow, right? So it's not exactly just power per, like, watt per operation, right? It's more complex than that. You need to push and be the fastest, but while be the most power efficient. And that's the sole reason why this processor changed. And the difference between them goes down to the laws of physics. It's because it's physical processors, so it goes down to the laws of physics, how, like, you create the silicon which is more efficient while, like, pushing the physics of that processor higher, like better, higher, efficient. What's not? Efficiency is probably the right word, right? And so the sole reason for these processor changes, architecture changes, was that the next architecture did it way more efficient, more powerful. So in that respect, Acki Nacki is the fastest blockchain. We say fastest blockchain possible, but it's at the moment is also the most efficient one. And so from that perspective, if you look at the network as just a decentralized processor, because what is the blockchain today? Like, what is I'm talking about blockchains as a smart contracts platform. Like, if you talk about smart contract platform, what is the difference between them all? You can say it's that. It's like how efficient they are, period. And that's why Acki Nacki is needed, because we are at the moment the most efficient processor, the most efficient decentralized processor. So that's ridiculous statement number one. Acki Nacki will win because the laws of physics. That's like hard to argue. Yeah, you don't threaten us. Like that's not going to go well. Like, we're like, you can report whatever you want. It's nobody, like, the risks are known. We're not running away with your money or anything like that. And like, we never said when the network will launch, in terms of like promised you in the writing that the network will launch at this time. Like, when you're buying a core, you agree to the terms and conditions, and the term is that you will get, after the 1 year of the network launch, you will get the proportion amount of the tokens that is in the contract for your mining equipment that you rent. Sorry. So like, and yeah, that's, we would already return the money if we would think that that we would not deliver that. Obviously, like, we're not fraud. We're not like, if we would, we wouldn't be sitting here today, right? We're a European company. Like, we have legal entity. Like, if we wanted to defraud you of your money, it's like, so don't threaten us. It's not nice, and it's also not very productive. I heard that pop coins will be tokens. No, we're not going to add liquidity to these pop coins. If you want to trade them, you will need to add liquidity for them. Yeah, they are effectively, once they are moved on chain, they are effectively tokens. Exactly. And once it moves on chain, you have the possession in your wallet. You have these tokens that you have minted before and you will mint in the future. And would you be able to like trade them if you want? Sure. No. Okay, so how about the puppets of today created before mainnet start? Can they still be minted or they're lost? No, but nothing is lost. That's what we are doing now, literally. Now the application is down because we need to transfer everything to the mainnet. I have physical laws. I have actually a list of physical laws that according to which Acki Nacki will win. The second law of thermodynamics, Landauer principle, Amdahl versus Gustafsson, and so on and so forth. Shannon. happening. Yeah, goes fine. So, let's talk about Are you sure you'll be able to stream before the launch? I am streaming now. I don't know what to, like, questions. I think these questions don't need my answer. No, no. We cannot use Google Authenticator because it requires, like, you can use Google Authenticator when connecting with Google account, and because you connect with us with a Google account, so you can use the Authenticator there, but you cannot use Authenticator directly on chain. Yeah, you mentioned that multi-threading will not be available at launch, and we know the future is one of the Acki Nacki advantages. Can you explain more about this point? Yeah, we just start with the minimum kind of set, so nothing breaks, and we see that how it goes, and after that we will turn it on, of course. Every puppet that was created before the servers went down, like the application went down, will be there. Nothing to worry about. But if the puppet kind of was minted within the time of the downfall, then I don't know. I don't know. And I don't want to kind of go now and start asking about this, because, like, people are super busy now. Yes, that's right. After the announcement, after the update is complete, you'll need to download Create New Wallet. That's true. I explained about why here twice already, because we couldn't have the two separate wallet creation process for someone who remembered the seed phrase and someone who forgot. And since we promised to people who forgot their seed phrase that we will give them one more chance to go with the, to create the wallet, connect it with the Telegram account, we just said, okay, we just make it everyone recreate again. iPhone users will be able to use iPhone application. Is Gore going to sponsor some new tournaments in the future? Let's see what's happening in the future. These are not the keys. Why not use passkeys instead of seed phrase? Because passkeys are not secure. They're like, passwords are breakable. You need a very long password, and also, like, in the future, like, you need longer and longer all the time, and so no, that's why we use seed phrase in general. Private key, yeah, just to make secure, because it's your money, man. So let's do some ridiculous statements more. So let's talk about AI. Maybe there's of course, it's an elephant in the room. Up until now, the single most important technology that the human race has created, or at least it seems that everyone thinks so at the moment. Beforehand it was a blockchain, beforehand it was internet, beforehand it was penicillin, and some in between: radios, televisions, planes, rockets, many things. Yeah. It doesn't matter how long your password, you will never be able to remember the password long enough to be as secure as seed phrase. And the problem with password is that you create it yourself. And people with human beings were very bad at randomness. When we create passwords, they are not random. And so by definition, not random passwords are not secure. So when you will create a very long password, you probably will go oh, I know this poem from William Shakespeare, and I will just start, will be my password. Yeah? Well, guess what? William Shakespeare's poems are known. Right? So you will be very bad. That's why not only it's a seed phrase, but also a seed phrase that auto-generated. It's not you who choose the words, because you are bad and randomly choosing the words. You're bad and randomly choosing anything. We're not random creatures. Does Blockkeeper license needs to create a new wallet? Yeah. If you it's automatically created for every license. If you have a license, you already have a key. Acki Nacki key was generated in the dashboard when you claimed your license. This is your key, and that key will unlock your wallet that will be deployed for you on the mainnet. You say someone will make the breach, is not going to be responsibility of Gosh team. We have wrote the breach. So the breach was written 2 years ago, more. So this 2 years or 3 years? Oh my God. Anyway, it was written. But we are not going to launch it. Someone else as well. Are you considering that the full mount board could exceed 14.4 million boosts? The boosts will constantly rise, I think. So sure, it can, yes. About the boosts and all that, it's a very complicated subject, because the boosts are in the center of what we now call bee engine. Bee engine as a bee, as a, the little lovely creatures that makes honey. And so the bee engine is something that works like a beehive. It mimics the how bees are making decisions, and boosts are playing like a vital role in there. I don't want to go, it's just, I think, too complicated now to kind of start to explain why boosts are so important. but they play a vital role in this system. So it's very complex mechanics, like how it works in the end. Like not technically complex, even conceptually complex. Because in a way, like boosts are proving that you are human. And you can say, yeah, but there are many bots who could make boosts, right? But the thing is, the boost is meaningless if it doesn't give you mining power, right? But in order to have a mining power, you need a lot of boosts on one account. Because if you just spread them across several accounts, it won't give you as much as if all of them would be in one account. Yeah, makes sense? Because of that, there is no incentive for you to start making a lot of boosts to different accounts. And we know people are doing this on the old system, the current system, because they want to use it for ban, like banning others. Because other than that, there is no use for them, right? So the banning part, it's what in Beehive it's called cross inhibition. This part is going to be reworked a little bit. We just had to wait until the mainnet launch to kind of start working on that. But in general, yeah, you will not be able to use, like this will completely eliminate the need for you to use boosts in different accounts. You want like as many boosts as possible on one account, and that plays a major role in the system. Are you planning a certic audit? No, we don't do audits. We do formal verification. And part of the formal verification process, you can call it an audit, but it's much more formal. And no, we're not going to plan to use certic or any other audits like that. Will the daily boost enhancements we collect be lost after the network launch? Will we be able to continue collecting the daily? For some time you will, yeah. I think so. I think so. What you won't be able to do is what you already, I think you already cannot do that, is the collecting boost for some social activity which cannot be verified on chain. Okay, so ridiculous statements. If we already said about B engine, so I want to like expand more on this in terms of like what will happen in the future for this. So we want to expand like this system that is now used for Puppets and Puppet game in the future as well. Like we want to expand that to different games, as we said already. And one of the things that like we have created, or it's not developed yet in terms of like there is no system, but I filed a patent on that actually, and that is a anti-cheat system for games. And this anti-cheat system, it's an AI system, but it works on chain, and it works for every game where AI can play better than human. and that's almost every game. So if you have a game where AI would outperform human all the time, like, almost any game today. I don't know any. I'm trying to think about what game AI will play worse than human, and I can think of that. Maybe poker, because it's kind of, it has this cheating. I don't know. I actually don't know about poker, AI poker things. But other than that, there is almost any game, right? So these kind of things B-Engine will do. Like, it will provide an anti-cheat mechanism, and then this anti-cheat mechanism is very fast. It works like an Acki Nacki in a way. There is a probability that you will be caught, and this probability is almost like probability of cheating by Acki Nacki consensus. So think of Acki Nacki consensus deployed on Acki Nacki for anti-cheat, as an anti-cheat system. And this anti-cheat includes the matchmaking, on-chain, and then verification, and random verification, where over some time we can prove every cheater will be caught. I think that online games is something that very prone to cheating, right? We hate cheaters in games we play. Online, it happens all the time. So to be able to kind of try to tackle that problem, I think it's a big problem. And I did the research, obviously, when I did the patent for never found anything that is related to what we suggest. So it's not only that we want to bring more games, Web3 games and stuff like that, but we also want to give them the service that is just not available on anything else. And blockchain plays I think will play a vital role in this, because when you go about cheating or anti-cheats, right now it's all down to the gaming company, you basically trust them, and what happens with this trust, we know, right? When you go to play some games like PUBG or whatever, and it's all full of cheaters. CSGO almost killed by that, and or chess, full of cheaters and rarely caught, despite all the efforts of these platforms all the time. There are cheaters all the time. Puppet game have too much bugs and too long never to fix it. Yeah, because we worked on the blockchain launch. Sorry. There is actually a new version of the Puppet game that's going to be deployed. Remember, the Puppet game is not launched officially. It's in a preview mode, but was created for the tournament. So, and it's not because of the bugs that the game. Well, first, when you say don't have funds, I know the game is played by many people and they do have fun, so maybe you just don't not one of them, but it's okay. But it's not because of the bugs actually there. boosts liquidity. There's no such thing as boost liquidity. Yes, Robert, that's exactly what I said. There will be a lot of alternatives. We want to bring the whole industry here. But not only just as any blockchain, you would run a game and have an asset on that game, but also you will have some other services like anti-cheat, which will be network verified, so everyone can have a one second. Can have a like evidence that they were kind of cheating, and you can argue with blockchain forever. How we're doing. Checking status, one moment. Okay, verifying. So the status is that we are verifying the last provider inventory, and I think we're ready to go after that, something like that. Okay, questions? Grants for developers will be good marketing. We're not doing grants for developers. That's not what we do. It's we have a different strategy for that. We want to build community, and then, like, once the community is there, and it is there, we want to make it larger and larger, then the developers will come to create applications for this community. So just to give grants leads to developers, special developers. There is a special developers type who come for grants. They take the grant and they go. Why do we need developers like that? What's the point? Will be an alternative to the card game in the future. Yes, will be, as I said, there will be, like, the B engine will allow any game which built in certain rules to mine. So any developer can build a game on Acki Nacki and start mining Knuckles, and the users will be able to mine Knuckles through that game. They will need to connect to the B engine, kind of do what B engine, like obey the rules like of the B engine. But when you connect, you kind of have to do that, and that's it. My camera. I'm out of focus for some reason. Hello. Yeah. When the card game will be deployed on mainnet, it will play the role of the mining game. That's it. Like, you will be able to mine by playing this game. Again, very important definition. When you mine with a game, you're it's not it's not a game of, like, it's not a chance that gives you the reward. That's very important. And I think Google misunderstand that. I think they don't realize that, or they don't want to realize that, and so they claimed like that. I think they claimed that for the game, when it will be available, it's like what is called, like the game for money, but it's not. It's very different in that regard. But yeah, I mean, we will have to explain this somehow to Google. I don't know if it's possible. Is there any test going for the Guinness records for the fastest blockchain? There is no such records. I spoke with the Guinness representatives about 5 years ago about measuring blockchain performances, and they said no. Like, they thought about that, they said no, because there is, and I kind of understand, because there is no universal metric that you can impose on like across all the blockchains, because different blockchains will think of a speed in different metrics, and it's very hard to, at least like transactions per second means absolutely nothing. Like, that is not a metric for performance, really. What you will actually need to measure, and we're considering this actually, is to measure like compute operations, like what you do when you measure normal processor speeds, because processor speeds, they are kind of more or less objectively measured, and there are, I think, Guinness records on the performance of the computer performance. So we will need to go into these kind of things. But yeah, even that is hard, because like even when the processor has different architectures, it's already becoming kind of hard to measure one against another. Will staking of my knuckle commence immediately, mainnet, or in the future? There is no kind of, there is no staking rewards in Acki Nacki. Maybe you missed it. Like staking, it's what allows you to mine. And yes, your mining is proportional in some respect to your staking. But if you won't do the work, you won't mine, you won't have rewards. So in other blockchains, like you can put a stake, like in Ethereum, you can put a stake and stake will just give you rewards, doesn't matter what happens. Or maybe not, actually. In Ethereum, it may be also connected to the node that you have to run, I think, right? Remind me, if in Ethereum, I think if your node is down, you can be, maybe you won't get rewards. Maybe I'm not that familiar with actually how it works, but in Ethereum. But basically, yeah, it's not as staking as like staking. Like it's not a liquidity mining or farming like in DeFi protocols and some of the blockchains. No, you need to perform the work. So, for example, mobile verifiers, right? You have a motherboard which all your knuckles are kind of automatically staked. You mine automatically staked in the motherboard, right? But your knuckles will not produce you staking rewards if you don't play, if you don't do anything. Because actually, what rewards the network pays you is for you to kind of move the finger across the screen, not for you to lock knuckles. Locking knuckles is just a necessary part of you be able to have the rewards, but it's not a staking reward. Can you explain about Blockkeeper license after 1 year? I read Blockkeeper can issue license. That is like, I'm not sure I understand the question. If you talk about Blockkeeper license, there is nothing happen with the Blockkeeper license after 1 year. Like nothing. Oh, you mean 2 years. I get it. Okay. So after okay, now I get the question. So after 2 years, everyone can issue license to themselves. But you need to have a minimum stake to do that. So if you have minimum stake, you can create a license, stake the coins, but you also need a validator to run the Blockkeeper validator node. Very funny. Very funny. You know, I would say what I think about that if YouTube would not ban me for this. I read that you're streaming until the network launches. Are you going to sleep tonight? So there is a word I would like to say to you, but not on the stream. How scalable it is to the other blockchains. Oh my God. Yeah. It is the fastest blockchain possible, so yeah, it scales. Let's put it this way. What makes Acki Nacki better than Aptos? I started from this. It's a speed. Why is taking knuckle tokens necessary after the destruction of the mom board in order to continue using boosts? No, it's not like that. In order to mine, you have you have to have a motherboard. Like, in the level of your motherboard decides what kind of mining rewards you will have, right? So it's not that you need a motherboard to continue. You don't need staking anything. Like you need boosts to mine. Boosts, basically, you buy motherboard components and then you mine immediately. So you don't need any staking. It's just that every knuckle you mine is kind of collected by the motherboard and kind of stays there, and you need to destroy the motherboard to free the knuckles. That's how it works. How can we stake knuckle if they be locked? No. There are no locked knuckles. There's nothing locked. You can just take them anytime. Destroy the mama board and take them. It's like, but if you when you mine, all the knuckles are collected. You cannot. What you cannot do is you cannot take the knuckle and continue mining with the mama board. That's not working. In Puppets games, to take first place, for example, you'd have to play all day. Exactly. You'll be agreed that it would be very difficult for 80% of verifiers. It will be very difficult to take first place, exactly. Yes. Why? So you think that everyone should take first place? Isn't that a self-contradiction? Like, first place is only for one person. That's what socialists don't understand. There is only one first place. You cannot share first place with all the participants. There would be no other places then. Oh my God. No. I'm not answering this question. Don't try. Nice try. But nope. Yeah, that's one big MF first place. That's why taxes were created. So everyone can share first place. A little bit. Okay, ridiculous statements. So we believe all the Web3 gaming will come to Acki Nacki. That's a ridiculous statement from the previous one. Yeah. Not only that, I think that all the games will have a Web3 like blockchain component, because you would want your gamers to have like these services, trustless services, like this anti-cheat system, things like that. So like you will see more and more applications will have this extension to the blockchain. And right now what we have, okay, this is a ridiculous statement number, which one? 3. Yeah. So the statement goes like this, like, you don't need any other chain. Like, what happens today is that like we create chain for every use case. We have a use case, let's create a chain. Like, why would we do that? Well, it's kind of with Bitcoin, so you have the, like, it's a first chain, obviously. So the first chain, and it was created as money, right? As a digital money. And it found its use case in like store of value. Right? So digital gold, basically. It's not a digital money. The Lightning is not, like, never going to work. because you don't, it's not because like technically or something, it's because like you don't want to pay with digital with gold, like you don't want to pay with gold coins, like it's not the best use of gold. What do I do with this camera? You know what I have? You know what it is? iPhone 6. I still use it. That's the best iPhone ever created. Like this, look at this. I have it on my table. One of the best products ever made. But I got this one. Let me show you. What the hell? This one. Why? Because it's exactly that one. But the screen is a little larger. That's my dog, by the way. So it's also something to say about like the products. Like, what is the difference between that and this? Yeah. So, to the ridiculous statement. Number 3. So yeah, so Bitcoin, like Lightning and all of that, was never kind of, yeah. Like, and then we created Ethereum for smart contracts, like programmable money. Yeah, and this is the use case. Now they want like to be a settlement layer of everything. Like, let's settle on Ethereum, and yeah. And then like Solana said, let's do it fast. So like, every chain kind of trying to solve one problem. But if you think about that, it's like in the processor world, again, like in the processor world, you have a desktop processor, you have a mobile processor. It's very different use case. Probably you can't make processor works for both cases in the same time, because one need performance, obviously, another need power efficiency. It's the most top feature. But if you talk about decentralized processor, what's the difference? What's the difference between one chain and another? Like, why it requires a separate chain? I'll tell you why, because the chains are so inefficient that you need to have a whole chain architecture specially designed for this particular use case. One thing. Another thing is that developers want money. And a lot of them believe that in order to, it's actually statistically correct, that in order to kind of extract the most value out of their creation, they need to create their own kind of chain, or at least sub-chain or something. Like 2017, everyone thought that we'll need another token. And then that kind of faded away, and like more and more people, at some point, more and more people realized like, that's not enough, the token, we need the chain. So how to combine the two? Well, like Ethereum or Polkadot. Like the Ethereum said, layer 2. Like let's everyone create their own layer 2 chain, and it's all fine as long as they settle on Ethereum. And Polkadot said like parachains, whatnot, the Cosmos with all the multi-chains, and everyone is talking about chain interoperabilities and all that stuff. But in true, like, reality is, all you need is an economical mechanism for these developers to kind of be the first-class citizen on chain. How do you do that? Like, imagine like if Ethereum would have ETH1, ETH2, ETH3, ETH4. So every developer can claim their own kind of ETH instead of tokens. Like, think of that as a native token. Because what difference does it make? Like, Ethereum comprises of all these servers right around the world, which passes some messages between them, whatnot, blocks and stuff like that. And the layer 2 of Ethereum, it's exactly the same Ethereum, passes the same messages, same blocks. And the only reason there are two of them is just that the one cannot accommodate the second, like it cannot be combined for some reason, architectural wise. But what if we could create the native tokens, as many as we like, on the same chain? Like, so think of that. Acki Nacki has a design of two tokens, Knuckle and Shell. Knuckle gains value for mining, for helping validate Acki Nacki. Shell doesn't have value, like it has only nominal value of the kind of unstable and will never rise. Never rise. So that is just to pay for the network, like compute. What can happen next? So why we have Shell, which pays for compute? We have Knuckle, but who said it should be two? Because once we decoupled the gas payments from the native token, we also basically say why we won't have 2, 3, 4, or 54 of these native tokens. And in this case, we don't need another chain for a developer to come and to present some big fat idea for a system and to operate another blockchain just because the developer wants to have some value out of this native token for what they did. We have a general purpose blockchain, lets them create this native token. Who said that there should be only one native token? So that's a ridiculous statement number 3. You don't need blockchains because all you need is a platform that can accommodate anyone in terms of like scalability and be really fast and efficient. See ridiculous statement number 1. And a native token for developers to capture the value. Will it be possible to mint stablecoins in Acki Nacki blockchain? Yeah, mint whatever you want. checking. They sent me to like, I'm asking what's up, and they sent me like, you're doing great. Continue. We'll tell you when it runs. Where's my iPhone? See what I'm like? I have to do this. Come on. No. Why it doesn't work? What is wrong with my camera? Okay. This is stupid. Like, Logitech, come on. Couldn't you do the autofocus normally? Yes, this is a live stream, exactly. Yes, you can access the iOS wallet once the network starts. The wallets will be immediately released on the website. You will be able to download them. You'll need test flight. Go install it now if you don't have it on your phone. For iOS, you need test flight. It's a public beta wallet. That was the fastest way to do it, but anyone can use it. When the Puppet mining mechanism is integrated into the system, will one be able to play? Well, you mean Puppet game? You can play as much as you want. It's not. Again, mining is not really connected to the game, right? The mining is connected to the game just in a way for you not to cheat. Not to cheat the mining. That's all. Is Eugen a bot? Yeah, sure. Definitely. I saw him. He's 100% a bot. So it's time for... Yeah. There is a ridiculous statement number 4. I made it on Twitter already. And that is the regulatory framework, like in the prosecution, whatever, for developers, like doing development and then got prosecuted, like Roman Storm was. So the idea is, like, Roman got prosecuted because, and for those who don't know, I'm talking about Roman Storm from Tornado Cash. So he got prosecuted, like the only case that still stands against him. It's that it is a decentralized system, but it's all in the kind of details of decentralization in a way. So, like, the thing is that he knew that he is proceeding, like, criminals using Tornado Cash for money laundering, And unfortunately for Roman, he kind of had the admin keys at launch, but that's not enough. Like, if he would just have admin keys at launch, like, he would never be prosecuted. The problem is that he had the admin keys and he used them all the time, and he used them while even knowing that the criminals have used the service, and that what's got proven, right? So it's not that simple. It's not that you have a keys and then boom, you're prosecuted. No, not enough. First of all, something wrong should happen, like while you have these keys, and second of all, you need to have them all the time, use them all the time, so effectively it's provable that you could prevent something and you didn't. And that's a big difference between when you can prevent something and you don't do it, and when you cannot prevent something and it happens. That's a huge difference, right? I hope I'm explaining that correctly. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Another thing that Storm did is what he operated the front end. These things that empower all the blockchains today. It's incredible. It's just incredible that nobody talks about that. Like, it's all normal, right? You go to a website to use DeFi. You go to a web wallet to sign transactions on the website that uses DeFi. I'm sorry, why is it decentralized? If you control the front end, and that's exactly what prosecutors and the judge agreed on the Roman case, that Roman has operated the front end, the website that people use to connect with Tornado Cash and use Tornado Cash decentralized services. Now, if you control the entry to the system, this doesn't matter how it decentralizes the system, it's not a decentralization. And you just cannot control it. And when the difference between the application and the web is that on the web, everything goes through the server, even if you download when you start using the server, you download the bundle, it's still you download the bundle from this web server that you control. So in theory, I can put in the bundle whatever I want. Right? These are very delicate topics. I would say there is absolutely no blockchain today that is decentralized, because there is absolutely no decentralized interface today to the blockchain. It just doesn't exist. The most we can think about grades of shades of gray, like web server. Is a web server better than application like on App Store, or it's worse? Like, in theory, when I install something on iPhone, from that point it's mine, nobody can touch it. I don't go to server. If I don't go to server, I don't go to server every time I open this application, if the application is kind of decentralized. If you go to the blockchain through a decentralized kind of entry point, also important. What usually blockchains called RPC nodes. Do you know that most of the RPC nodes of all the blockchains today are run by a bunch of centralized providers? In theory, there is absolutely nothing because the blockchain, when you enter the smart contract, it kind of verify your keys, which you hold in the front end, right? So in theory, that path is not kind of under control of the RPC node provider. but everything around it, like how they, okay, the best example why it matters is the largest hack, Bybit hack, in crypto industry history, right? What happened? $1.5 billion stolen. How it was stolen? It was stolen by replacing the interface for the users who use the safe multisig to sign transactions. Safe multisig is a kind of smart contract. It is a smart contract, but it also has a web server, right, which displayed everything to the user, including the transaction details, which user signed. And what happened is that hacker hacked into the web interface deployment CI/CD, using developers' keys that he stolen, or actually not stolen, but it was a kind of a hole in security hole of one of the developers there, and use CI/CD to deploy to these particular users their version of the website, of the Safe Wallet website. Yeah, and they just changed the transaction on the user machine using this web server, web page that they created for this particular purpose. And user thought they are on the Safe Wallet, right? So how decentralized is that? And they signed it with their MetaMasks. MetaMasks was fine. But did it prevent anything? No, because they just signed a transaction which took all their money and transferred it to hacker. Yeah, that's a great question. That's a great question. Все печеньки мои. How to build a decentralized frontend for decentralized apps? Excellent question. Amazingly excellent question. How to do it? Well, we start like everyone else, right? There is a wallet. This wallet is in the App Store, Google Play, right? So then there is an Acki Nacki app, which doesn't hold your keys. It doesn't do anything. It just basically you use a wallet which you connected to it, and you mine there. But all your rewards is in the, and also your boosts are on the blockchain, right? The motherboard and so on. One second, I have something to say. So we're just 2 hours? No. Yeah, we're just 2 hours here. And, shit. Sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, Where is my champagne? My tea for now. I can't even like you know have no words at this moment. So let's see, what about mining? Thank you guys. Congrats to everyone. I'm just trying to figure out. Last checks on the mining part, wallets and everything are going to be deployed now, and I'll report you when it's done. come back in a second. back. All right. So how many times did you and the team run the startup test in the past 2 weeks just to be sure it would work? Seems very tedious. Almost every day. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Let's see something else. Some internal thing. Cross my face. And why I can't? Okay, I don't know how to do it on OBS. Bottom line, maybe like that. Something maybe like that, because it takes, I see. Okay, anyway, so this is the metrics that we're looking at usually. The block keeper licenses shows offline because I don't think we deployed, like we need to deploy the service to the dashboard. It will take some time, but they are fine. They're mining. Like that's usually like what we're looking at when we run things, right? So that's a lot of metrics. The consensus metrics, they're network metrics, there are performance metrics. There's like a lot of them. Here is like the finalist. These are basically the blocks delivered. This proposed block rates. So it's like six blocks per second. Yeah, the links are coming. Links are coming. At the moment, like all looks fine. There is some node that underperforms or performs acutely, I would say, this one. But okay, someone will look at this. Yeah, that one. But in general, all looks fine. Yeah, all healthy. Now we will deploy the wallets, not deploy even, but let me see what's going on there. Did you just launch with upgradable system contracts? There are some, like, what is the system contracts? There are many contracts. Like the blockkeeper contracts are not upgradable now. There are some contracts, some system contracts, but their upgrade requires validator signatures. So some of them are yes, upgradable, not the blockkeeper system. Blockkeeper system, like knuckle mining system, is not upgradable. So there is no one answer to this question, but no upgradable by our decision, not upgradable by our key. Yeah, wanted to show you also something else. Once we're waiting for wallets, the people are, so the team is testing right now for the wallet part. Wait. This is strange. Yeah, this contract is not system contract. Like it doesn't. It's for testing contract. It's not a. It doesn't play any role. So I have one announcement to make. Meantime, we're waiting for the wallets and everything. Which one to take? This one, I think. Okay. Let me show you something. Oh, come on. So today we we have as you may know already, we have something called Gosh Meme Production Division. This is an incredibly talented team who is behind all the media products that we're doing. And they announce today the Acki Nacki Live Cam, which is the animated series. And today the trailer is going to be released for the premiere episode, which you will be able to watch. But not only that, inside of all the animated series, we will have planted words, and these words are from seed phrase from the wallet on the mainnet, or from different wallets on the mainnet, I should say, which Gosh will put knuckles in it, some knuckles in it, and you will, like, if you watch all the productions, like the shorts that going to be released, and of course the series itself, you can discover these words, and it's a 24-word seed phrase, which will give you control of the wallet. Last 4 words will be released on my Twitter account, or Acki Nacki Twitter account, doesn't matter. That case, maybe mine, because Acki Nacki is like no one's land. Yeah, and you will be able to claim the wallet and, you know, transfer the knuckles to yourself. So to dedicated Easter eggs, yeah, to dedicated LiveCam supporters, this will be available as well. But apart from that, I think you will enjoy it. It's super fun. The animated series, it's super fun. You will see today the short trailer. It will go live on, and by the way, on different networks there will be different words. So there are different wallets for different networks. Like, it will be on TikTok, it will be on Instagram, it will be on YouTube, and so yeah. So go watch everywhere it will be slightly different in terms of like the words implanted there will be different from different wallets. In the end, I think anyway it's like super fun to watch, and I hope you will enjoy it. And we definitely like, that's maybe my last and of the ridiculous statements, but we don't want only to kind of like immerse Acki Nacki everywhere in terms of like games and be connected to games and be connected to like decentralization, interfaces, DeFi's and all of that. But I think we want to implant it everywhere, including like films, movies, music. Not in the way it was done before via NFTs. Like, we believe that NFTs is a horrible way to connect the blockchain with real life. It's stupid and it's primitive and it's... I can't even say it's degenerate. I think it's worse than that. But I think there are way more fun ways to connect blockchain with real world. Because if you think about the real world assets, for example, that they want to put on the blockchain now, man, what's the point? Like, if the security is tradable on the Nasdaq, why do you want to put it on the blockchain? What's the point? Just to gain more liquidity. There is nothing in the security that is decentralized. Like, everything is on the Nasdaq exchange, regulated by SEC. There are like laws of the particular country, of particular security laws, with some, I don't know, books that published an accounting standards of that particular country. What has to do with blockchain? Like, what it has to do with decentralized economy? Why it's even interesting? Like, you buying with your I don't know, crypto, you buy some Tesla stock, really? What do you want? That's what you want to do with crypto? Like, it's like putting your crypto in the bank. It's just a horrible idea. Why do you need crypto if you put it in the bank? But I think there are way more kind of interesting ways to connect the real world with the on-chain, not even assets, but assets as well, that can be embedded into the matrix of everything. And for fun, or like maybe not for fun, maybe for more than just the fun. We will see how it develops. At the moment, let's just experiment with that. So we have this thing that you watch it, yeah, you can claim something, and let's see, maybe it will develop in a more, maybe we can connect B engine into that, into the movies as we connect it into the games, and see what's happening, right? Maybe there is something interactive backbone to like, and that's why I think the series makes it more sense, because it's something that continues. You have one episode, another, and so on. And maybe there are creative way to develop the series in interaction with like community on the blockchain. We'll see, but let's start from that. So I think it's again, super talented team, amazing product. I think amazing, like world top class. Just fun to watch them working, and yeah, I hope you enjoy it. So that's my announcement about Acki Nacki LiveCom. All right. So, to the final announcement. The mining is life. What are you still doing here? Go mine, and I'll go to sleep and drink my champagne. Not advice. Non-alcoholic champagne. Non-alcoholic Grand Dame non-alcoholic Pinot Noir. Yeah, the faster you do that, the more knuckles you'll have. What can I say? First come, first serve. Go mint some poppets and you know. You need wallet, remember, to start mining. You need wallet. Yeah, the post to Apple link was broken. It will be reposted now, I think. I think I'm going to go now. Telegram is not connecting to where? Yeah, I agree with you, NFT sucks. Thank you guys for being with us all that journey for like a year. And here we go. Yeah, the test flight is working now, so you can use the link, and it works. And I don't know what to say. It seems that I'm out of emotions. It's because I'm out of emotions. Yeah. We'll have some other time, other stream where things a little bit go settle. And how to start mining. Go download the wallet, connect the wallet with your app. By the way, yeah, connect the wallet with the app. Telegram mini app is just uploading right now, so it will be ready in a few minutes. But there is a website that you can use. There are 2 bots now, one bot with website, one bot with Telegram mini app. You can choose whatever you like. If you like to do mini app, go with the mini app. If you like to do the website, go with the website. We don't care. Though Telegram may do something because it's their mini app thing. So, but the website, and the other bot is working all the time because it's just a website and just a normal bot. So that will work always. We created 2 of them for you, so nothing will stop you from mining, knuckle, and participate in this amazing community. Now, next step, I think the most important next step for us, all of us, I mean, apart from the technical part that we still need to do, because we have a huge technical depth, like there's still a lot of things. As I said, we're already working on update to the network, next update. But one second. Yeah, but from like our blockchain, because it's I don't have any knuckles. You probably have more knuckles than me, many times over already, if you mine. It's our blockchain. Now, to make it really successful, really, really successful, it's not coming down to things like when listing, when this, when that. That won't make Acki Nacki success, and that won't make you successful. That all it will make you is selling some few tokens for nothing, because in the beginning the price should not be high, right? Whatever the price is, it won't be high because it's a beginning. Remember Bitcoin, we are in the same trajectory because that's how tokenomics of Acki Nacki works. Yeah, so can you make few bucks selling few tokens? Yeah, but that's not success, guys. This is bullshit. But in order to make it really successful, what we need is to make our community even stronger, make our community larger. Because the larger our community is, the more people share the values of this blockchain, and the more valuable it becomes. It's that simple. There's nothing else. That's it. That's the recipe. There's nothing else. So go talk about Acki Nacki, bring some more people to Acki Nacki, and then share the success with all of us. One without another just won't work. It's that simple. We're trying as much as possible to make it fun for you to participate, to make it great experience for you to participate, and as hard as possible to tackle the bugs, create new applications. And of course we will do that. Other developers will do that. We will all grow that. But without you, without the community, all of that is just code. It doesn't mean anything, and it won't grow. So the more people know about Acki Nacki, the more people share our views on this world, right? The more value we will all share. Thank you for staying with us for this year. Incredible year, I have to say. Amazing year. Best year of my life. And let's hope the next will be even more. Thanks, everyone. See you.